Ladies, you do not have to be afraid to get pregnant if you have epilepsy. And that is what I want to tell you about. I want to share a positive pregnancy experience from a woman with epilepsy. My name is Megan, and I have partial complex epilepsy. And I am also almost 37 weeks pregnant, as you can see. I'm getting pretty big, and I'm almost at the end of my pregnancy, which is exciting and also pretty surreal. And I want to share my experience with you because when I was thinking about getting pregnant a few years ago, I really wanted to understand more about the process and what happens if you are pregnant with epilepsy, what that could look like. And I couldn't find that much. I mostly found medical videos. So I wanted to share a story for anyone who's looking like I was, maybe just to bring some peace of mind or to give you maybe more info if this helps. I hope so. So I will share my fears and then the realities of being pregnant with epilepsy for me, and then also the different experiences of symptoms throughout my trimesters. So I'll start there. The first trimester, I was pretty tired. My energy just felt pretty zapped, so I did more like low impact workouts, which helped me mentally and also gave me a little bit more energy, which I really needed. And I had quite a bit of gas, which is pretty gross. Sorry, TMI, but it's true. And then the worst part about my first trimester with my epilepsy was having quite a bit of insomnia in the first few weeks. Anyone with epilepsy knows like sleep is everything, so that wasn't awesome, and I was really lucky that I didn't have any seizures or auras as a result, so I was really pleased about that. And then it trickled away and like I was able to sleep again, so that was much better. And I didn't have any like pretty like food aversions or vomiting or anything awful that you sometimes hear about, so I was really grateful for that. I ate often because I didn't want to end up with an empty tummy feeling nauseous, so that was quite an experience. Eating when you're not hungry isn't that great, isn't so fun, but that was okay. Second trimester, I got my energy back. I went back to my normal workouts with my doctor's permissions, and everything felt more normal. I don't have much to say about that. My belly started to grow, which was kind of crazy and interesting and cool and surreal and all the things. And then third trimester, my energy got zapped again, so I went back to more low impact workouts. I have lots more like pain at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep because there's stuff pressing on my nerves, and I guess my baby's pressing on my nerves, and my legs are going numb, so I have to turn a lot or get up and walk around, which is also not lovely for sleep, but I'm up to pee so much that it doesn't make a huge difference. So my sleep's gone down again, but it's not like insomnia, it's just more interrupted sleep. So far so good. Super grateful to not have any auras or seizures throughout my entire pregnancy so far, which brings me to my fears, where that was one of my biggest fears. I got epilepsy with the onset of puberty because of my hormones triggering my seizures, and so obviously pregnancy is like hormone mania, and so for me that was pretty worrying. Like I really didn't want to have auras and seizures throughout my entire pregnancy, and thank goodness that has not been the case at all. I haven't had any, and I honestly, I guess that's just the body. It's amazing, and it's like a miracle the way everything works in there. But I was definitely scared as well about medication changes throughout pregnancy. So when I found out I was pregnant, I'm working with an OB and a neurologist simultaneously. So my OB does like mostly pregnancy stuff, and then my neuro does everything epilepsy related. So when I was 18, I switched to an adult neuro, and she told me very early on, I think when I, like my first appointment with her, and it always stuck in my head, she's like, you have to take folic acid like right away, starting now, if you want to get pregnant and have like a healthy pregnancy. And I was 18, so I was like, okay, buddy, like no. But that always stuck in my head. So in my early 30s, I went to my doctor and she gave me Pregvit Folic 5, which is quite an intense prenatal vitamin with high folic acid in it. So I've been taking that for like a couple years. I didn't know if I wanted to have a baby, but I definitely wanted to keep the door open. And so that was always a bit of something that stuck in my head, is like, get on the folic acid game sooner rather than later. But 18 was a bit much for me, I won't lie. And then I was also a little worried about the increase in potential abnormalities of my fetus or baby because of my medication. And as I've been pregnant and been going through the process of pregnancy, I learned that there's a lot of tests that you can do throughout your pregnancy to make sure that everything's okay, which has given me so much peace of mind. And of course, you can never know for sure, but that's also been like the reality, is you're not just like wondering the whole time. You do have like testing that can be done in Canada, and we did have to pay for it. It was like $700, but for me, that's really well worth it. That's just a personal decision. So those were big worries. And then too, I wondered like, how would it work when you're pregnant with my medication? Like, I obviously would imagine you'd have to go up, which is the case. So my doctor, my neurologist, explained that when you're pregnant, your body metabolizes your meds differently. So I started probably at half of the meds that I'm on now at the end of my pregnancy. And my neurologist and I made a plan that before I was pregnant, I got my blood drawn and I got my medication tested, like the levels in my bloodstream. So we had kind of a benchmark, and then I kind of kept those numbers in mind as I continued to get monthly blood work done to check my medication levels. And so I had something to compare it to. And of course, after like every month, the numbers would be lower. But the way that I increased my meds with my neurologist's suggestion was to do it by how I'm feeling rather than the numbers. And that really helped me to feel better. So when I was starting to feel like the wheels might be coming off the bus here, and I was getting more like aura-ish like sensations, I wasn't quite there, but you kind of know yourself after you have epilepsy for so long, or at least that's my experience. So when I start to feel a little like, I increased my meds as I discussed with my neuro. So it was really nice to have a road map, to not have to talk to her every time, or, just to understand that there's a plan in place so that I felt okay. And my neuro also said to me, like, if you're okay, your baby's okay. So don't like feel bad taking more meds, and don't push it, like if you're really starting to feel a bit off, like it's better to increase your meds. She said to me, it's better to increase your meds and then, hopefully have like a healthier pregnancy and not end up having trouble for no good reason because you're being stubborn. So I was like, yep. Fair enough. So that also really helped me. If you feel good, baby's better. So that was really helpful. Interestingly, too, being pregnant, a positive is that some of the issues that I experienced because of my meds not pregnant, like low sodium, that has been quite a problem. I don't have in pregnancy. For some reason, the pregnancy like cleared it all up or something. I don't know. So my sodium has been normal in pregnancy, which is great because I'm thirsty and I drink way more. So that's just been really cool and like strange how the body is able to balance itself. Like I found that amazing and so fascinating. So that was really nice. Uncertainty about the process was another thing that like scared me. As like, I don't know, I thought I'd definitely be a high-risk pregnancy. And my first meeting with my OB, she was like, no, you're not. And I was like, really? That's so awesome to hear. I wouldn't mind the extra scans, but all good. Like, so happy to be considered not a high-risk pregnancy. at 35 with epilepsy, so that was pretty surprising. The process, in case you're where I live in Vancouver, BC, where you find out you're pregnant, you make a doctor's appointment, they give you an ultrasound at 8 weeks, and then you see your doctor every month, and at 20 weeks you get another ultrasound, so you can check the development of your fetus, which is nice. And every month you can hear the heartbeat, and they measure your belly at some point. And then at third trimester, you start seeing them more often. And then at 36 weeks, you see the doctor weekly. So it would have been nice to know those things. And then the genetic test I mentioned that I got was at 9 weeks. So it's quite early into the pregnancy. So it would have been nice to know those things as well, because obviously I was very afraid of a lot of this stuff, and reality has been much better, and it's been actually a really pleasant process, much more pleasant than I would have imagined, because I feel myself, which I really was worried that I wouldn't. And one of my auras is like very intense, like body anxiety, and not having that has been a huge relief. So yeah, it's been like a very positive experience so far, and I hope that is helpful to somebody who's listening to this. My meds will go back to normal. Well, I'll titrate down slowly after I give birth. This is my plan with my neurologist, so that's also nice to have, so that I can not feel like over medicated once this baby comes out. But I also know that after birth is a very touchy time, because hormones are all over the place. There's probably a very intense lack of sleep. So my neuro said, like, we'll go slowly, so that I still have lots of meds in my system, so that it mitigates like being hormonal and exhausted. So that's also helpful information. And then my birth plan, my doctor suggested getting an epidural so I can have more rest during the labor. That's definitely something I'm taking on board, but I'm still in the process of considering maybe I'll go natural for as long as possible, then get the epidural. I don't know until I'm there, because I don't have a crystal ball and I've never had a contraction. So yeah, no, it's easy to have a plan and then change everything while you're there. So that's my experience so far. I feel really grateful. It's been a very pleasant experience, and that's everything. So you don't have to be afraid. Everybody's experience is different, but I really wanted you to know you can have a healthy pregnancy with epilepsy, and I'd say we're all pretty badass. So there's that. So see you later.